Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Linsell, senior real estate writer and coach here at theclose.com, bringing you another dedicated behind the scenes walkthrough, this time of the real estate CRM top producer. Now, if you know anything about the real estate CRM space, you've probably heard this name before because honestly, these guys have been doing it for a long time. In fact, the first iteration of top producer came out in the 1980s. Hard to believe. I couldn't believe it when I read it, but it's true, and it's come a long way. The latest production from Top Producer X, is a new twist on the real estate CRM. They have a ton of tools and functionality, and we're going to look at all of them. So come on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Top Producer video walkthrough. So excited to have you along. Got a lot to cover today, so we're going to jump right in. What you see here is the dashboard. This is what Top Producer users see when they first log in. Pretty straightforward. This dashboard is pretty typical of what you see on normal real estate CRMs, but honestly, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say I like this one just a little bit better than what we typically see. And the reason here is because we've got some customization on this dashboard that really makes this a platform that you can make your own. For instance, these tabs across the top, these are categories for leads, because we're in the contacts tab here. You can place these leads into different categories based on where they're at in their journey. Seems pretty standard, right? Except you can go over this little gear here. You can create new tabs. You can set one of the existing tabs as your default. It even tells you a little bit more about what you can do with this function. So there's a lot that happens on the dashboard. You're going to see these little gear icons, settings in a lot of different places on Top Producer. And the right here on the dashboard where we land is a great example of the start of this. So let's take a look at what we got here. This is the dashboard. Like I said, we start by default on the contacts tab, but we have a whole bunch of options down the left hand side: calendar, tasks, snapshots, transactions, notes, and then a few things down at the bottom. And we're going to talk about each of these. But before we do, let's take a look at a contact profile. Built out so we had something to look at. So here's what a typical contact profile will look like. You click on it, and out from the right will pop up the contact. We've got Keith's information right here. Really helpful to have all of this stuff right at arm's reach. I love that this prioritizes, obviously, phone number and email address, but also website, address, company, that sort of thing. And this is definitely editable. You can go to edit contact. You can fill in all of this stuff here. You can choose contact status. You can choose buyer preferences. You can choose where that lead came from. There's a ton of different things that you can plug in here. Really great for a contact profile. And then if you think about this as like the active information, this over here is the activity for which you want to be paying attention when it comes to each of your leads. So we've got our contact status, which we talked about before. Right here at the top, we've got the last touch, next important date. This is just the top of the line important information you're going to want to have at the ready. And then notes you've made, all sorts of helpful things in here. Also here on the right, some of this information we saw in the contact information, where we got this lead, any buyer preferences they've got. And then this cool feature that Top Producer offers, if somebody has a publicly available social profile, it will it'll pull in the information for it, it'll link you to the icons, and then will give you the bio there. So you just have some of their public-facing information. So this is what a lead contact form looks like. Really helpful. Again, very editable. Tons of different information you can fill in here. We've got history for email, important dates, notes, properties that they are interested in, property insights, which we're going to talk about in a little while here, snapshots, which we'll talk about in a little while. This is all really helpful stuff. The last thing I wanted to point out here is texts. You can do SMS texting right from your dashboard here. Really helpful. And even though you will ultimately be sending and receiving texts from a top producer assigned phone number, they don't come and they aren't sent to your native phone number. It is something that will have a local to you area code, and especially if you are doing a lot of text message marketing, if you have a very extensive contact list, doing that all with your thumbs is pretty challenging. So being able to have a desktop interface for that, really helpful. And then we'll talk about transactions in a little while as well. And then, what do you know? Here's another one of these gear tabs. You can move these things around, set defaults, very editable. I really think that the top producer dashboard and contact profile setup is top notch in the CRM space. So let's bump forward. Calendar. Pretty self-explanatory. If you've got things with dates on it, you can set this up. This is syncable with your Google Calendar and with a number of other different calendar programs. So you have some editability here. You can change your view. I personally am a calendar person. I need a calendar to get up in the morning, it seems like. So having this function is cool. You got this cool little quick edit button here where you can add things to calendars. You can add notes, emails, text messages. This little function is available in just about every place in the top producer CRM, so handy to have. Tasks. This is an important tab, and I want to be honest with you, I think that the dashboard experience is really great on Top Producer. This falls a little flat to me, and I'll tell you why. Tasks is the area where we essentially record what we need to do for particular contacts in order to maintain our relationship with them, right? So here's a couple of tasks for Keith Hocken for the contact we looked at before. We're going to do a price memo, announce a new price. This is assuming, he's got a listing here on Nevada Street. And then we're going to run an ad, announce the new price. That's great. All of this is good. These are good reminders to have. The thing is, though, we have all of our different reminders. You see we can sort them by task type up here. All of our different reminders kind of go in one place, which makes sense. But we have email here as well. Now, email, Top Producer does offer some automated email options, but they are included in the tasks area here. So you can set up, if you wanted to, for instance, add a task. Let's do an email. And we'll just say this is a test email, and we're going to send it on Halloween. It's high priority, and we'll describe this is the Halloween greeting email. Oops, if I could spell. There we go. You can input a template here, and you can tell us who you want it to go to. And then when you hit Save Task, that is how you put an email into the queue to be sent. I think that we're missing the mark a little bit. I wish that the email automation had its own kind of dedicated space. This feels like it's trying to do a little too much, but frankly, if you are automating a lot of email, this might not be the perfect system for you, but it is workable. So just a little something that I found through this process. We're going to talk about, in fact, let's talk about it right now. Top Producer does offer some automation, communication automation, like I talked about. They call these task plans. And again, you would think that you would have the option to do one of those right here, right at the task area. But unfortunately, you have to go down and access it a different way. I'll give you an example. Go back to Keith's profile here. I can look at here's task area. We could apply a task plan to Keith. So let's say we want to do a simple lead conversion. Okay, this is actually, you know what? We're not going to do that one because this doesn't have any email in it. Let's try a different one. Let's do the test plan I set up. Okay, so here it is, the first day email. We would hit apply here, and this email I've got set up to send on day one, the day that the task gets applied. So you could set this up to automatically happen when a new lead gets added, and I'll show you to get to your tasks plan. Again, it seems like there should be a button over here, but you have to go down to settings and then go into task plans manager. And this was the plan that I was working with here. See, just day one, then you can add a task. We'll add another email. Task is due 1 day after the previous task, and then we can call it, here's the second email, and we could fill in all the information there. Okay, well, and you'd have to obviously pick a template. Okay, so there we go. Now we've got 2 emails in here, and you can build out as many of these tasks as you want, and you can add in other things like a reminder for a phone call or some other task. But unfortunately, the system is a little wonky, and it doesn't feel designed for automation experts. So that's a little frustrating. Also, you can't automate your SMS texting either. You can set yourself reminders to send text messages, but you can't have it automatically send a text message. So, when it comes to communication automation, the platform doesn't get an A+ from me. In fact, it gets more like a B-. But if this isn't your bread and butter, then you'll still be fine in here. If you really need communication automation to be top notch, this is going to be a little bit of a struggle for you. So we've got contacts, we've got calendar, we've got tasks. Let's look at Snapshot. Now, Snapshot, or what they call Market Snapshot, is a cool feature. I think this is really helpful. This is, I guess, technically a component of automation. And essentially what you're doing is you're setting up property alerts, either for buyers or for sellers. And I'll give you an example of one. So here's one for Keith. Okay, so we've got all Keith's information in here. We've got the search criteria. And every time we've got a home that meets his search criteria, he gets sent a report. Now, you can change the report frequency. We've got it set to every 2 weeks. That's probably not realistic for most buyers. They want stuff, kind of as it happens, which is an option. We can go to edit. We can change his things to weekly. There's some other options here too. You can choose your search areas. We've got a target property, like where we want it to center around. All of the criteria. These are like the, this is like your Zillow alerts on steroids, really. But what I really like about this is you can set it to send the report, and then you've even got some open statistics, how often they're sent, how often they're open, how many clicks you get out of them, how many times the report was viewed. This gives you a really cool opportunity to see the effectiveness of this. And you can set these up really, really easily. Top Producer, integrates with your MLS on the back end here. So you can set these things up right here on the Top Producer dashboard. And you can get an opportunity to see how your clients are reacting to these. These sorts of passive snapshot reports are really great for both buyers who are looking for property and for sellers who want to monitor the market in relation to their listings. So top producers who are using like here's the a list of the listing reports. Here's one that was sent to Keith. We can look at the summary page. We'll open that up here just so you can see. Here's what it would look like. Really cool to have this sort of thing kind of happening on autopilot in the background. So this is Market Snapshot. This to me is kind of the saving grace for the automation options on Top Producer. I don't think the automation options are fantastic, but I really like Market Snapshot and all the options that it gives you. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's look at the next section. And this, oh man, this is one of my favorite parts of Top Producer. Top Producer is not what I would say a transaction management platform by any means, but frankly, their transactions area, it tickles my funny bone. I mean, this is the sort of thing that I kind of sit up and take notice of. So you can monitor your transactions, and technically, they call this transactions here. I don't know if I would necessarily call just an active listing a transaction. That feels more like after a contract is laid in place, but yeah, I can get my head around it. So let's just look at this one here. So this is like an active listing, and you can see you have here the option to customize all the details here. Put in your listing information, your transaction details. You can put in file numbers. You could put in lockbox numbers, this helpful sign place toggle. And then this here, the key dates area. I'm not going to put all these in because I'm just going to show you an example in a second. But having this timeline here really turns this from this kind of static, I can get that to come up here. This kind of static tool to, let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So if you click on one, I set this one to pending. Now take a look. When you open this up, you have this timeline over here that lays out when it was listed, when there was an offer, when we had a contract, when the inspection was scheduled for. And then you can also lay out your future dates to kind of track where you are in the progress. This is something little, but honestly, this visual here is really attractive to me. And being able to have like a quick look at like, okay, we've got the listing, we've got the offer, we've got the contract, we've got the inspection, that visual really gives me the ability to kind of glance quickly at where we're at on stuff, right? The other cool thing about this is since you can put in your commission rates, you get this kind of estimate over here, like here's the commissions I've earned, here's the potential active commission, or what we've got on all active transactions. If everything closes, what is my total expected commissions? That's this number plus this number. This honestly, if you manage a lot of listings, having this sort of dashboard here just for your transactions is super helpful. And you also can, I'm not sure exactly why it's linked with Realtor.com, but you can also pop it open on Realtor.com and actually see it here on Realtor.com as well. So you can also you can add a party to a transaction, people like the seller, obviously, or the buyer. And if you have other, you can put in like loan officer, for instance. It's pretty cool, right? So I'm not going to add anyone there, but I love this transactions feature. Frankly, this is worth its weight in gold to me. So, notes, pretty self-explanatory. If you've got a note, you're going to add notes in your contact profiles. If you want to just look at your notes rather than going through each of your contacts and looking at them individually, like if I want to see what Roland's notes are, I can click here and go to his notes. But if let's say, as an example, let's say I am at an open house and I'm picking up a lot of new leads, getting a lot of new contacts, and I just want to look at all the notes that I've taken that day. In the notes area, I get all of my notes kind of aggregated together. So that's pretty cool. And then, let's just look down here. What's new? I think this is an underrated feature for CRMs. This kind of like what's coming in future releases, what has just happened. Top Producer is in its latest iteration, Top Producer X. It is changing on a regular basis, so being able to see the new features really helpful. You also have a link for feedback. I won't click this because it's going to open a whole new window, but it's essentially how are we doing on this product? What can we do to make better? And then here in the settings area, you've got all the information. Like you can change your information for, your business, and this stuff's going to appear on things like your market snapshot. So having this stuff updated is really helpful. Billing information, calendar sync. You can sync it with different providers like Gmail or Outlook, or a lot. All the major ones. Same with your contacts, your email integration, lead providers. This is super cool. Top Producer syncs up with over 150 different lead providers out there. They provide a tool for certain plans called 5 Street. I'm not going to get into it here because it's not, kind of on the Top Producer platform, but essentially it's like an automated lead follow-up tool that sends out like an automated text or email as soon as a lead comes in from a paid source. It's pretty cool. Check out the article if you want to read a little bit more about that. And then you've got your task plans manager, which we talked about before. Team management. This is something you got to set up specifically with Top Producer, but and then here's all your template library as well, for emails and for texting. And you can see there's a ton of templates in here to choose from, both in the email and the texting side of things. And obviously you can create your own, or you can add new ones too. So lots of cool stuff on here. The last thing I want to show you guys before we wrap today is this Get Help Now button. You can see I've still got a little bit of chat open here. Me and Daniel have been chatting, and guess what? Daniel doesn't know that I am writing an article and doing a review on Top Producer. This window is just always here during regular California business hours. He answers all sorts of questions for me. This is not a robot either. This is a live person. I peppered him with so many questions over the last week or so. Honestly, the support, like the customer support on Top Producer, I don't say this very, very often. So, take this, for what it's worth here. The customer support on Top Producer has been nothing short of phenomenal. Like, I have been so impressed. Let's see if he'll answer while we're in the chat here. How about we'll ask him, "Hi, Daniel. What are the live chat support hours? What days?" Let's see what he says. I'll see if I can vamp a little bit while he is taking a look at this. But the long and the short of it is, I often will find on CRMs that my support is phone-based if I'm lucky, and it's usually email-based, and usually the turnaround time on this sort of thing is within 24 to 48 hours. And look, oh my God, he's already responding. It was literally within the minute. I sent this at 3:10 Eastern time. He is already back to me with his little dots. I can't tell you how valuable that is, especially when I have just a quick question that I need answering. So good on you, Top Producer. Top Producer is not paying me to say this, guys. I am just like floored that this is an option here. So well, thank you. And that's it. We're going to close this out so he doesn't keep chatting with us. Thanks, everybody. That is the Top Producer demo. Hope you liked it. If you have questions about this, please don't hesitate to drop a question in the comment field of this YouTube video, and make sure to read the Top Producer review article that we've got on the close. Have a good one. Thanks, everybody. Hope you liked this behind-the-scenes tour of Top Producer, and hope you have some better insight into whether or not this is a tool that would work for you and your business. If you made it this far in this video, hit a like here. Let us know you liked it. That way we know that you like this sort of thing, and we can keep making more of it. In fact, why don't you go ahead and hit subscribe and that little notification bell? That way we can let you know whenever we have new content here on the channel that you can use to level up your real estate business. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next time.